So, firstly, Feneb, I know that you know who the majority of the community is. I know that the majority of the community knows who you are. But to any of our viewers, because we do really, with every single GeoGuessr broadcast we do, we get like thousands of new people following the channel, thousands of new people supporting. So to any of the viewers that might not know who you are, would you mind being so kind as to just talk to me for a second about like who are you and how did you get into GeoGuessr?
Of course. Hello, everybody. I'm Feneb. Also, Ben. In case you're wondering where the name Feneb comes from, it's literally just my name, Ben F, but said backwards.
Ah, you're one of those guys. You're one of those in reverse guys. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, I'm Australian. I live in Canberra, the glorious capital of Australia. And I'm a uni student. I'm studying science and medical science. And I got into GeoGuessr kind of at the tail end of when the game kind of blew up with Rainbow and the Rainbow tournaments and all of that. Like by the time I started playing competitive GeoGuessr, the Rainbow tournaments, at least sort of the first run, had all wrapped up. And so I got in the tail end of that, sort of early 2023. So I've been playing competitively for about 2 years now. But actually, my high school geography teacher introduced me to GeoGuessr about 6 years ago. So I've been playing casually for a lot longer, but really only started grinding competitively all of about 2 years ago. So compared to some people, I'm a relative newcomer, but I've been playing for a fair while now.
So what has been the, to you as you say, I mean, somewhat newcomer, what has been the biggest hurdle to get over from, I mean, obviously being introduced to the game and just clicking around and figuring out the names of some of the countries in the world, assuming you had a pretty decent like geography understanding when you started playing. What has been one of the biggest hurdles that you've had to get over? Because obviously initially there's so much available with bullets, with chevrons, with poles. Like it's very accessible how you learn things, but like from there, how do you go from I'm now pretty decent to I could actually pursue this as a like potentially a career in competitive play?
Yeah.
While you answer that, I'm just gonna set up another screen.
It feels like it kind of just happened. Like I just kept picking different things to learn.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden I was good at the game.
Yeah.
There were some things that were hard, and like before GeoGuessr, I'd never really committed to. There's never been anything where I'd sort of committed to memorizing a huge list of things. So something like Kabupaten, I had never done something like memorizing all of the Kabupaten before.
No.
So that was a completely new experience. I was trying to memorize, 350 odd subdivisions.
Yeah. And from there, like how long did it take from you, I suppose, from you started grinding the more, nitty-gritty knowledge stuff? Did you feel like, oh my god, it's actually, worthwhile? I feel like the hours I spent getting better is paying off in the results you're seeing with your game.
Yeah, I mean, so because I started in early 2023, and by the time I'd been playing competitively for about 6 months, that was when the first World Cup was announced.
So you came in at the right time, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I came in at the perfect time. I really did get unbelievably lucky in terms of joining the game at the perfect time. I sort of, the first World Cup came around, and I was like, well, I haven't got an invite for this one, but what if next World Cup I was good enough to be a part of something like that?
Yeah.
And so that was sort of what led me to like really commit to grinding. And I would say sort of when I saw that pay off was the
Mm-hmm.
following year when I got a spot in the Asia Pacific like online qualifiers and got to play in those. And
Mm-hmm.
so it felt like, I had a foot in the door, I had a chance at making something like the World League. And I didn't make it that year, but I kept grinding, and this year now I'm in the World League.
And
So
here you are.
yeah, it's sort of been a gradual, but this year is really where it's felt like it's all paying off because, I'm actually, I'm surprising myself. I
Yeah.
didn't have high hopes for the World League, but I'm managing to hold my own.
Well, I mean, funny enough that you should say that, because while you were explaining, and by the way, thank you for sharing, it's greatly appreciated. I'm sure for all other like people that are getting into GeoGuessr, it's amazing to get the chance to hear how people like you, because people that come in, they see, okay, you're on the leaderboard, you're in the World League. No way I'm ever getting there. But to know that you have been able to come so far in just, I mean, the matter of over 2 years is incredibly impressive. But as you were saying, regards to the World League, which we just finished broadcasting, for those of you guys tuning in now, I can see on my screen, I don't know if you can see my screen as well on the stream if you have it open or anything, but I'm looking at the overall leaderboard. And right now, you are right at the cutoff. You're sitting in 13th in a 3-way tie with Sheena and Finbar. There is, let me think, 5 weeks left of play. How do you feel going into those last 5 weeks?
Well, there's a few different factors here. I mean, first of all, my position in the leaderboard looks good because I've played a lot more games than most other people, so I'm tied with Spaghetti and like a couple of other people for most.
And you can see
games
for
played so
viewers,
far.
you can see the games played here in the left side column. Yes.
That makes my standing in the my overall standing look a little bit better than it will probably end up being. But essentially, my goal is to make regionals. Like that's my goal. And currently, I think I'm in a pretty good position to do that. Like I'm pretty solidly in terms of like points per match. I'm pretty solidly in 5th place in the APAC standings. So if I hopefully keep playing like I have been, then I should definitely qualify for APAC regionals. We'll see though, because I still have yet to play Blinky, Consus, and Finbar.
Okay, that sounds dangerous. Hey, I mean, Clement today beat Consus 2-1, so goes to show that, and this is not me taking anything away from Clement. This is more so me underlining the impressive skill set that Consus has, saying that everything is possible, man. Everything is possible.
Absolutely.
And I'll gladly be on the Feneb bandwagon when you go up against some of the Titans. We'll see if you can come up with chores. Maybe if I'm lucky, I get to cast some of those games too. We'll have to wait and see. No, so looking back, I mean, obviously we're quite a way through the season now, the World League. Looking back at, let's call it Feneb pre-World League, and then Feneb 16 weeks into World League. How do you feel like you've evolved over the course of playing like weekly against some of the best players in the world, yourself included? How do you feel like you've changed as a player from, again, the beginning of the season to now?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I feel like a lot of the change that as a player happened before the World League for me. I've been, I'm doing a full-time degree at uni, and to be honest, I haven't really been practicing that much while the World League has been on. I've been learning a few things here and there, but really, like when I got into the game, and I think most people still know me as a moving player. Like that was how I got into the game, and I would still call myself a moving specialist. Like I play a lot of the moving leagues, like Lion's Den League and Cactus League, and I like moving's always been my specialty. That's how I got into the game. Shout out to Jake Lyons.
Yes, I can only concur. I echo your sentiment. His Discord When I first got into GeoGuessr, but even before I started casting it, when I first got into playing it, everywhere I read had either Plunkett or Jake Lyons Discord as the #1 community, like #1 place to go to get a foot in the community. So can only echo your sentiment of a shout out to Jake Lyons, because the community he's been able to build is a big part of the reason why GeoGuessr is what it is today.
Oh, it's incredible. Like, there are some unbelievably dedicated people in Lion's Den making really cool stuff happen. Like the moving classic that happened like less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, I
Finals
heard.
for that was insane. And that's essentially like all thanks to Bojan and Zem, 2 mods in the Lion's Den who do an insane amount of work for the community. Like, massive props to them. They do so much. And then a team of like 50 mappers who have made this moving world map that's like perfect for moving tournaments. So that was Lion's Den is just an amazing place. And shout out to Jake Lyons, like the first GeoGuessr YouTuber that I sort of started watching all of his videos and being like, oh, well, this is what competitive GeoGuessr looks like. That looks really fun. Let me have a go.
So now that we have gotten a chance to know a bit about how you get into the game, we've talked a bit about your current standings in the World Cup or World Championship League, or just the World League. I guess it's time that we could ask chat. I know it's always dangerous to include chat in anything. I see you guys. You're crazy out there. Have chat ask some questions, because I'm sure there are some Feneb fans out there that have very specific questions, and maybe they're just some more, casual people going, hey, how do you get good at this? How do you get good at that? So over the next couple of minutes, I'll keep my eyes on the chat and see if there's anyone that want to ask something. If not, then I can easily keep talking going, because that's kind of what I do for a living. So while chat gets their questions going, is there anything to you, Feneb, as a competitive player in GeoGuessr, obviously now being part of what is an insane upwards trajectory of the scene, is there anything you hope to see more of, or anything you want to have happen that has still yet to happen? You know what I mean? Like somewhere you want the game to go that it hasn't gone yet?
I mean,
you're smiling. I don't know if that's dangerous.
The obvious answer for me is I want to see stuff like the moving classic that happened this morning. So moving formats that reward pinpointing and 5K'ing.
Yeah.
I want to see something like that on a big scale, like, World League type stage. I think that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the tournament was such a blast both to watch and also to play in this morning. And something like that would just be incredible, because there's a whole host of incredibly talented pinpointers out there who, that skill unfortunately just isn't really rewarded.
True.
In a moving duels format, and that's fine, but there is so much space for there to also be some sort of tournament that rewards
for sure
pinpointing skill.
And I feel like that's something you hear echoed very often within GeoGuessr. The community is obviously, I mean, no game, even freaking, what do I know, football or games that have been around for multiple 100 years, no games have the perfect rule set, and all games change rules, from time to time. And I'm sure that if we look at GeoGuessr right now, most people will say they're pretty good rules. Sure, some people will have opinions on one thing or another, but overall, it's a functioning game. There's a reason it gets so much traction, because it actually works pretty well. Whereas in 10 years, if we were to look back at 2025, everyone's going to be like, oh my god, guys, do you remember when we had those rules? And everyone's going to be laughing together because we just didn't know any better. So right now, obviously, is when we're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and then over time, everything will be improved upon. But we now have some questions from chat. Thank you, by the way, everyone in chat, for being so eager to get to know our dear and beloved Feneb better. I'll just take the first one first, from Geo Frixie. And if there are like cap questions or mega meme things that I just don't know, because I'm somewhat new in the community, feel free to laugh and say, Toby, you should not have asked me that question. Or I'll just commit to answering them. That's how it is. You're on the You're on the, what do you call it? On the chopping block now.
Question.
Exactly. So we'll start with GeoFrixie. How do you learn Kabupatan? And sorry if I'm butchering city names as well. So fast. Kabupatan.
Okay, so Kabupatan, so those are like essentially regencies in Indonesia. They're like one level down from provinces.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've got like North Sumatra and South Sumatra and those sorts of big provinces. Then the next level down is Kabupaten, and they're written everywhere. The easiest way to do it is go province by province.
Okay.
So just split it up and try and there are some things that make it easy to remember. So a lot of them are named after rivers. Some of them are named after cities, which are quite easy to scan for, especially those in Java. My best advice would be leave Java till last.
Okay.
Because like 90% of the Kabupaten in Java are named after cities that you can scan for anyway. Whereas in the rest of Indonesia, the Kabupaten often you can't scan for them. You have to know where they are.
Fair.
Like, you can't scan for Nunukan, which is in Max northeast Kalimantan. Like, you couldn't find that on the map. You have to just know that it's there. So start with like everything but Java and do it province by province to make it manageable. And if you haven't learned Philippines provinces already, do that as a warm-up. Like, get practice at finding out what works for you in terms of memorizing them, and then move from like the 80 or so provinces of the Philippines, which is pretty manageable, to something more full on, like 300 plus Kabupaten.
Cool. Thank you. Hopefully, GeoFrixie, you got something from that answer. I know I did. A lot to go home and study. Second one is Lucy asking, what do you want to do after uni, since you're taking a degree and everything? I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is be a professional GeoGuessr player for the rest of your life. But if not, then what do you want to fall back on?
We shall see how far GeoGuessr takes me. I'm just here for the ride. I'm going to play it for as long as I find it fun.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will be a long time to come. But yeah, after uni, I will probably end up staying on in uni to do a PhD and hopefully become a researcher in medical physics is the general field that I want to get into, which is sort of where physics meets biology. It's really cool. A whole bunch of
he's gonna make
work being
cyborgs.
done in that field.
Feneb is gonna make cyborgs. I'm hearing. We've heard it here first. Or maybe not. No, it actually sounds really exciting, and it's something that, as far as I know, is very sought after. I don't imagine that there's a like, oh no, we have too many medical scientists. Like, that would be actually really, really cool.
No, the job security should be pretty good.
Are there any particular like niches within? I mean, obviously, medical science is a mass of different things. Is there anything in particular that you're extra into right now? Just like if all jobs were on the wall, which would you pick?
Currently, I'm considering different things that I could do for my honours year, which in Australia it's kind of the equivalent of a mini PhD. And looking at a project of looking at scanning for biomarkers of diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So looking to diagnose those even before symptoms start. So that can massively improve people's treatment outcomes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's amazing. I kind of don't want you to become a GeoGuessr player, so you can go out and figure some of that stuff out instead.
Well,
that sounds amazing.
I'm currently managing to do both at the same time.
Well, yeah,
so
there you go.
How it goes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much. And hopefully, Lucy, you got a good answer that you wanted there. I'll move on to Pop Guy, who asks, are you ever going to stop playing on a trackpad? And also, do you play on a trackpad?
Yeah, I play on a trackpad.
Wait, what? How does that... What?
So every win and every loss that I've had on the World League has been played on trackpad.
Wow.
And it's because I play on my laptop.
Yeah.
and I like to just be able to take my laptop around with me everywhere I go, and it's sometimes annoying to take a mouse around, so I've just learnt to play on trackpad.
So let me ask a question on top of that then. Do you ever like, so for example, going up against the likes of, you know, MK or Zigzag or other people that play pretty fast, is that ever extra challenging to you, especially in moving rounds? Because it's more, I would imagine you just have that much more control with the mouse than you do on a trackpad.
Yeah, I mean, generally 15 seconds is enough. When I was still first getting into the game, I definitely used to make the mistake of not sending fast enough, but now the muscle memory is all good enough that, you know, I rarely ever don't get my pin down, and yeah, it's more the brain speed than the finger speed that's a limiting factor. Like, those guys send so fast, and I don't know the continent.
So we have you on trackpad. Was it MK who started out on his phone? And like got really good on his phone. So we have mobile players and trackpad players. What's the next? Someone's playing on a PS5 controller. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's gonna be the next thing to happen. But that's amazing. I was not aware that you were playing on a trackpad.
Surely.
Maybe we'll see. Next question is from Mario asking: are time zones a problem for a player in Australia? I mean, I guess for you in terms of the broadcast times for shows like these.
I mean, kind of. I make it work by, you know, barely maintaining a sleep schedule. For reference, it is currently 1:30 a.m. I should probably go to bed, but I figured my games ran like pretty late anyway, and I wanted to chat, so...
Yeah, it makes sense. And I appreciate you staying up extra long.
No worries.
And if you have to go, like if you gotta bounce, just say, Toby, shut up, I need to go. That's totally fine. Because I do not want to keep you any longer than you would want to stick around. So that does make sense.
Tomorrow is well, actually, technically today now, but today is a public holiday for me.
Okay, so that does help a bit.
Nothing to do.
That does help a bit. Then off to SK Migis. I hope I said that correct. Curious about practice methods as a new player. Do you do your practice in game? I assume the question is like, do you just play? Like, is it just non-stop repetition, or is it more researching something, or like, you know, doing meta knowledge puzzles or whatever, and then go play?
Yeah.
Like, how is your, obviously in a tournament you play, but how would you say your time is dedicated in practice to just grinding matches and actually sitting and playing like maps built specifically for learning a meta or something like that?
Yeah, so I think like the easiest way for me to answer this is to kind of split up the 4 different things that I would do to sort of practice GeoGuessr. So the first would be like just playing single player games, like, you know, exactly what Zigzag does if you tune into a Zigzag stream where he's just, you know, playing a bunch of NPC games.
Yeah.
Like that can't really be replaced. I don't play nearly as many games as Zigzag, but like things like, you know, you can't really replicate practicing pinpointing, like just doing 25k speedrun attempts. So that's like a perfect game where you get like all 5 rounds or 5k. That's kind of the gold standard for speedruns in GeoGuessr. So I've done a lot of speedrun attempts. It's how I've gotten good at moving, is just, you know, blasting through a bunch of moving games. So there's that. So I do a fair bit of that.
Okay.
Then there's memorizing stuff outside of the game. So there's a whole lot of websites. Emily's quiz site is excellent, and there's like, you know, Sporkle and Cetera and other quiz websites as well for memorizing things like Caberparton and phone codes and provinces and all of these different subdivisions. So I do a fair bit of that as well. And then the third one is coverage checking. So for those of you who've never used it before, there is an excellent tool that is kind of, in some ways, the foundation of modern GeoGuessr, which is map making app, made by Rihanna and just a number of other players. So Map making app is the easiest way to check a bunch of different locations. So you can go through and click into the coverage, and it makes that really easy. So it's really easy to make a map full of different locations. You can check coverage in a specific road or a specific state or country or something like that. It's the best way to kind of, like, for something like Kazakhstan, where it's kind of, just memorize all the roads. Like, that's how I do it, is I just click along all the roads in map making app and just sort of get a feel for them myself.
Cool.
That's map making app. Really useful for mapping out metas or doing your own research, which is a big part of GeoGuessr. Like, doing your own research is, lots of people have made documents, and there's a huge wealth of resources out there to learn from. And definitely check out, ask for somebody for a link to the region guessing meta library. Like, that's kind of the biggest resource, along with Plonket, for like learning stuff,
getting better at stuff.
So if you're a new player to the game, check out there's a Google spreadsheet called the region guessing meta library, and that's kind of the GeoGuessr Bible in some ways.
All hail. Yeah.
And then the fourth one, which I do way too much of because it's hopelessly addictive, is just spamming jewels.
Yeah, but that's, I feel like, how many people play.
Yeah, not the most efficient way to learn at all.
Yeah.
If you're trying to speedrun becoming the best in the world, don't just spam jewels like I do far too much, but I can't help myself. It's way too fun.
It's a good time. It's a good time indeed. So as you can tell, both for SK who asked the question and everyone else wondering the same thing, there are a lot of approaches to getting good at GeoGuessr. And yeah, I mean, that's just, I appreciate all the insights, Feneb, but I think even you could agree, I mean, that's just scratching the surface, right? I mean, there's so many things you can dive into. And it's really interesting to me because talking to people, like, how did they get into GeoGuessr and stuff, it's rarely ever the same instance. Like, somebody really quickly get good at something. Obviously, depending on what they come from. I have always been pretty good at flags. I mean, from even before GeoGuessr, I always thought flags were fun. Not that I'm an expert on them at all. I just have memory for them. Internet domains, those sit pretty well in my brain. And then just nature, like the vibe guessing nature, like those sort of things. And therefore, it will be more easy for me to dive into certain things and get good at them. And then I can, like, the hard things will come as well, but they'll happen at another time. For example, polls. I hate polls. I feel like they're too similar. I know they're not, but I feel like there's too much of them that look the same, that aren't the same. And I get debated all the time. When I finally try to use poll knowledge for getting a guess down, I'm always wrong. And I'm like, why am I wrong? I feel like I knew that this was in this country, and it's barely even on the right continent. So there's a lot of
the same, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of different things you can do with it. Canada Graphs asking, do you realistically see the GeoDiva, I suppose that's GeoDevs, implementing the moving classic style for the moving part of the World League or Championship?
I mean, I don't know. I honestly...
Okay, let me ask it differently then.
Yeah.
Would you want to see it happen?
I would love to see that. I mean, I'd just be happy even if it was its own standalone thing, separate to the... I would just love to see that in a, world stage, like that sort of level in some capacity.
Makes perfect sense.
As for whether that'll happen, well, I mean, clearly some people from GeoGuessr were watching that today, so and were pretty excited by what they saw. So, hopefully that'll get the ball rolling.
Exactly. And I know that, I mean, from having talked to the people behind GeoGuessr a lot of times, obviously working with them to broadcast these tournaments, they're always excited to, I mean, not only engage with the community, but also see what's going on, see what people come up with for game modes. And I mean, with full respect of what's being created, take into consideration, is this something we could see ourselves doing moving forward? Going back to what I said before, GeoGuessr is by no means a perfect game in the way the rules are done. We know that, they know that, because fact of the matter is, a perfect game doesn't exist. You can never cater to everyone's needs or wishes. You can never have the perfect rule set, because then games would never change, and all games always change. It can be patching stuff, it can be buffing things and whatever, depending on the style of game. And in GeoGuessr as well, maybe the 1 minute timer we have right now, we realize, wait, why isn't it 1 minute and 15 when it should have been? Or why do we get 15 seconds after the login? It should be 10. I don't know. There's so many parameters you can dial up or down, and over time, we will get closer towards the perfect result. But I don't think the perfect result exists anywhere, because it's always going to be extremely subjective, which is good. Because if we all were of the same opinions on everything, then nothing fun would be created. So I'll move. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Well, just one thing that I was going to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the things that are now, accepted, they're features in the GeoGuessr game weren't there originally and have come about because people in the community had the idea to do them. Like originally, No Move and NMPZ didn't exist as like modes. Like back, when the game kind of first gained a lot of popularity with GeoWizard, like to do an NMPZ game, the arrows were still there. It was still a moving game. He would just play it as NMPZ. You couldn't just select an NMPZ game. You couldn't select a no move game.
Exactly.
So those have come out because people. These things exist now because people had the idea to do them as challenges, and now they're part of the game. So now that the idea of something like the Move It Classic format is out, then hopefully it might get incorporated into the game proper one day.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. On to Erica, asking, do you focus on getting good in a specific mode first, or did you focus on getting good in a specific mode, or did you practice all of them right from the get-go?
100% when I started playing, I was focused on getting good at moving. Yeah. And I didn't care for no move in NPC.
I feel like that's what most people do. I mean, of course, when you first play the game, you play moving. Like, that's how you get into the game. And even in duels, like when you're low level, I think you can only do moving, right? And then you unlock no move, and then you unlock an NPC as well. So I guess it's pretty normal to start off with moving.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I think it varies a lot. It depends on who, I guess, who you're inspired by. I was a massive fan of Jake Lyon's videos, and so I wanted to play moving. I was seeing the moving leagues like Cactus League and the French moving leagues, and I was like, I want to be good in those. But I think a lot of people have also got into the game through people like Rainbolt and Zigzag, who are like NMPZ specialists. So they want to get good at NMPZ because that's what they've seen, and that's the cool thing that gets them interested in the game.
Yeah.
But for me, it was moving. And it's very funny, actually. I was checking this back a few weeks ago when I uploaded back when seasons were a thing, which is a while ago now. I uploaded a few duels videos to YouTube back when they first made No Move and NMPZ duels a thing. And I remember saying, I really, really, really struggle with no move and NMPZ, and not my strong suit compared to moving, and I don't think I will see myself playing these at all casually. And now I've played thousands of no move and NMPZ duels because, I sort of realized that if I wanted to compete in the World League, I would have to get good.
Have to get good at it. I mean, you have to play all of them. So
that aspect of the game as well.
It's literally impossible to win with only playing moving.
Yeah. Now I would consider myself pretty well-rounded player. Definitely most strong in moving. Like if you look at my win rate, in the World League, I've won about like 2/3, like 67% or something of my moving games, and my no move and NMPC win rates are like 30%. So
fair enough. You get off to a good start, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, again, I think compared to the majority of players in the World League, my advantage is in moving.
I mean, that makes perfect
Um,
sense. That makes perfect sense. Moving on to the next question. Again, I don't want to keep you all night long, but I'll go over to Barley Duck, if that's correctly pronounced. I hope it is. Fast moving got turned off for Australians far away from the servers. Do you feel like this was a disadvantage for you, despite being Australian or not?
yeah, this is something that I've remarked about before in a couple of different Discord servers. For me personally, fast moving getting nerfed in the World League did feel like a disadvantage for me, despite the fact that it was supposed to help Australians, just because I, rely on fast moving to get to info.
For the new viewers,
new
viewers tuning in, can you explain it real quick, just in 2 sentences?
Oh, yeah.
Fast moving. What is it?
Fast moving is just a trick in GeoGuessr. The way you do it is you click on like the arrows that you use to move
around.
forward and back.
Yeah.
And then you hold spacebar.
Yeah.
And that allows you to move about 1.5 times as fast as you could if you were just spam clicking.
Yeah.
So it's really useful. It saves your fingers from having to do all of
a lot of
clicking.
clicks.
Yeah.
True.
So unfortunately for me, I think the fast moving was kind of a disadvantage. But luckily it isn't actually too bad, because the moving map for the World League very often has info super close by. So even though I can't, even though sometimes, I can't reach info that I might have been able to with fast moving, often there is info really close by, and so I'm finding info in a lot of rounds, so that's not too bad.
Okay. And then lastly, and again, thanks everyone for contributing with questions. It's appreciated. Which country, and I feel like we get that quite often, but I think it's fun to hear people's different opinions. What country would you like to see being added to Street View?
Oh,
if you could pick one.
There are so many options, but
you can only pick one.
I mean, okay. The clear winner for me is China.
Just you want to see chaos. You want to see half the games be in China. Half the rounds.
I mean, for one thing, I have a rudimentary. I know a rudimentary amount of Mandarin, so I feel like I've already got a little bit of a head start there.
True.
And it would perhaps incentivize me to resume my language studies.
Yeah, there you go.
Something that I've been meaning to do for a while. But the sheer amount of geographic diversity in China is just crazy. So many mountains, you've got the Gobi Desert, you've got so many different cities, like a wealth of places to study. Like it's kind of got everything.
We're talking percentile of not in the point something. We're talking like full percentage of world street coverage that would be increased by adding all of China to the game. I mean, that'd be insane. The amount of
it would just be a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, it would be sick, but that would probably be the biggest patch of all time in competitive GeoGuessr history.
GeoGuessr is such a unique game in that way, because the updates to the game aren't determined by the people who make the game.
No, we have no impact.
We're at the mercy of wherever Google decides to send the Google cars.
Yep. It's fun. I like it that way.
In terms of a country actually that might realistically get released one day, because China's kind of it'd be nice, but it's probably never going to happen.
Unlikely, yeah.
A country that I would love to see, and there's maybe a chance that it could happen, would be Morocco. Like, there are some amazing landscapes in Morocco, and I feel like that could happen one day.
It is definitely a beautiful country. I've never been there, but seen a lot of like movies and videos and whatnot from Morocco. I can only agree. That'd be really cool. Well, that rounds off the questions that I have, or that Chat and I have for you, Feneb. Any last sort of things you wanna tackle on before I let you go?
Oh, I think I've spotted one more question, which was just if
Oh.
there's any players
Oh yes,
that
sir. I'm
I'm
hovering
most
over it right now.
impressed
Yes. What players have you been the most impressed by?
with. In the World League, I mean, a lot of people have been super impressed. Blinky, Consus, and Radu all impress me with their insane level of consistency.
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling to, win 50% of my games, and they're all hovering at like an 80% win rate. It's just
insane.
absurd.
That is insane.
Other play, Harrier has been killing it. That's been amazing to see. Captain as well. Zigzag and Lero, like their playstyle is the opposite of mine. NMPZ mains. But it's awesome to see my fellow Australians doing very well.
For sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been impressed by so many people in the World League, and even people who might not be so high up in the standings. Everybody has at some point made a viral moment worthy guess.
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah, everybody's had their amazing moments.
And there are so
across the
many
season.
games. I mean, we've even had some of them today where one player plays arguably one of their best games ever, but they're up against a person who literally plays the best game ever. Where you go like, had this person had the exact same guesses against any other opponent, he would have probably won the game. But he was just playing against a guy who was playing like on an A+++ level that day.
Yes.
And you get frustrated because you don't win a game because you're like all your guesses are in like 48 or 4900s, and still you're losing. It's got to be so frustrating for situations like that.
So yeah, in short, everybody's impressed me.
That's a good answer. I like it. I mean, there's a reason they're at the World League, right? They are some of the best in the world at
any players that aren't accurately represented by their ranking. I feel like, well, it's interesting. In a way, the format has actually really ended up favoring moving players.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a massive benefit for me because you always play a moving game.
True.
So there are a couple of players in here who are like NMPZ specialists, but barely ever play moving, who've been struggling. Like V89, who else? Gingy, Kent, like they're all incredibly good NMPC players, but
they don't necessarily get a chance to. Yeah, exactly.
Is weighted towards being more well-rounded or being really good at moving, which I won't complain about. It's certainly benefiting me.
And that's again back to the discussion of what is the perfect format, and the fact of the matter is it will always be subjective, and the people complaining about something is because they're better at something else and they want to have it be more catered towards what they're what they're good at. Exactly. Well, thank you so much. I saw there was another question coming in, but I'll leave that for someone next in line to answer, because I think that's a talking point that many people can dive in on. But thank you again so much, Feneb, for joining in. I hope I get to cast some more of your games. I hope we get to see you shine, because you're doing well. Yeah. You're sat there right on the cusp in 13th, tied with Sheena and Finbar at 50 points, and hopefully. If not, it being enough to go straight to the World Championship Finals, then at least into the regionals, as you're saying, and get a good thing going. So thank you so much for joining. Any final shout outs you want to do to fans and viewers out there?
Well, first of all, shout out to all the Australian players who are representing in the World League. Really awesome to see them. Shout out to everybody who has given me advice and taught me stuff in GeoGuessr over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's it's been a blast, and people are so unbelievably helpful. Like, that's the only reason that I'm like as good as I am now, is because people have been so generous with their time and with their knowledge,
for sure,
and able to help out. So thank you to all of those. Thank you to my family from putting up with me becoming increasingly obsessed with a very nerdy map game
Fair.
and going, oh yeah, no, don't mind me waking up at 4 a.m. tomorrow to play in La Ligue.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people to thank. Honestly, the community is like unbelievable.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's just as much about the people who play the game as the game itself. So yeah,
There
just
you
a
go.
wonderful. It's been a wild 2 years, and I can't wait to see where it goes next.
It's only gonna go up. I can only say it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much, Feneb, for joining in, and go to sleep, mate.
Yes, I should do that.
Take care, man. Have
Anyway,
a good one.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Take care.
I will see you around.
Yep. Take care. Bye bye.